Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. And today, we're doing something a little bit differently. Brand new guest on the show, Donald, a.k.a. Magic Jordan. You can follow him on Instagram. I'll have it in the video and in the description. Donald, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Nice to finally meet to talk about ball, because we usually talk about it.
Yeah, bro.
You know, we text each other.
It's been a smooth decade since we actually talked in person.
Yeah.
So it's cool. We get to like flesh this out in real life.
It's
cool.
Yeah. And today's episode is exactly what the title says. It's players that we love but frustrate us at the same time. And we may slip the hate word. Like we may say, we hate this.
Because you got to love them first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like we just hate their game. It's like something that we like, but something that just frustrates you.
Right. And so I'm going to give you the first one.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there.
All right. So the first dude that came to mind, even when you told me in the DMs, was Talen Horton-Tucker, bro.
Talen Horton-Tucker.
Talen Horton-Tucker.
Okay. He's on the Bulls now.
Yeah. So start with why I love him.
Okay.
So why I love him is his game passes like every eye test, at least offensively.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He can go to the rim. His form jump shot is great.
Yeah.
Even in the way that you kind of can't explain, he's just like a hooper's hooper kind of guy. Right?
Yeah.
But it seems like it just doesn't work on the team, on the high level team aspect. Right?
Yeah.
Kind of similar to our Bones Highland conversation, right? Where it's like one-on-one, he looks like he can be maybe one of the top guys playing that way.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's like he bounces around. He can't get minutes. He can't play. It doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And you don't think these coaches are not playing him because
something's got to be.
Personal reason. You think something has to be showing that it doesn't work.
Right.
So he would be my first guy that I just love watching him play, but I hate that when I'm watching him, I can see that it just doesn't work all the time.
I am so surprised that you brought up THT.
Why?
Because I'm thinking, not a guy that probably a lot of people know, unless you really follow the league.
Okay, well, I'm a Laker fan.
Or you were a Laker fan because he was there. And we thought, if you were a Laker fan at the time, you were thinking, oh, this dude might have something. High. Like you said, you would see the flashes. He's a really good passer.
Yeah.
Like whenever I tell people that Talen Horton-Tucker is a sneaky good passer, I will throw on some clips on this pod so people can see some of the passes. This dude is a hooper. You're right about that. So what is it that frustrates you, though? That it just never comes to fruition? Like it never...
It's sort of that unexplainable... It works in isolation format, but when it comes to like high level team play, like, I'm pretty sure playing against the Hornets, playing against, the Pacers, he can get buckets. But it's like those high level teams when they start, really they play good defense.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to score for long periods of time.
Yeah.
It doesn't work in that long format.
Yeah.
It never seems to work in a long format. You know what I mean?
So he can really get to the rim. You're right about that.
So it's like as good as it looks, it's like, why doesn't it work?
Yeah.
So I think that's what frustrates me about it. So he's
that's a really good name. I actually see a name in there that I think is really funny because I have him on my list too.
I think I know who it is too.
Yeah, he's at the very top. I see the name from here. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep it on the back burner real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you, I guess, another Laker one.
Okay.
And it's D'Angelo Russell. Okay. This dude is like coming out of college. If you were a Laker fan, you were thinking. I mean, I was thinking.
Yeah.
We're finally getting the long-awaited point guard because we didn't have one for a long time.
He was looking good. He was looking like a bucket.
Awesome. Like he could score, he could pass. He had flair. Like he was just so fun to watch. He was a vibe, and he still is.
Yeah. His
highs are really high, but the lows are just on the ground. Like I took some note of this real quick. The last playoff series that he played, which was against Denver, Game 1. This is like. If you want to know what D'Angelo's like as a player, experience-wise, just watch this series.
Okay.
Game 1, 13 points on 6 of 20 from the field, 1 for 9 from 3, right?
Okay.
And you're thinking, man, not this again. Game 2, 23 on 8 of 16, 7 of 11 from 3. That was the blow-up game. And then he follows that up with a 0-point game on 0 for 7.
That's
just
prime,
completely,
that's prime D-Lo.
Completely vanishes. And then game 4, again, 8 for 15 from the field. He's 4 for 8 from 3, 21 points. And then he finishes the series game 5, 14 points on 2 of 10 from 3. So it's like...
Finishes right in the middle, huh?
He's like that roller coaster guy. you know, that you love to watch succeed, but you just get so frustrated with this guy.
Yeah, and when he's playing well, the Lakers look like contenders, bro. Like,
yes.
When everyone's when AD and LeBron and D'Lo are all hitting, they look like they can really, be some high profile teams.
Yeah, because outside of like Austin Reeves, he really is that just spark plug. Like he can make shots on his own. That is so valuable on a team with LeBron. Because
he's a great passer too.
He's a really good passer, and like when he's got the confidence, the sky's the limit for him, but he's just not consistent. And that's what frustrates me with him.
Why do you think that is? What do you think do you think that's just
I honestly think it's a mental thing. Yeah. Like he's confident, but I just feel like those games where he starts off cold, he just like shuts down for me. Like he seems like a guy that if he doesn't start on a heater, it's not going to be the D'Angelo game, right?
What's crazy is I don't know if that's him. I tend to think LA has a problem with that. And I don't know if that's a D'Angelo problem or if it's an LA thing. Yeah. But he's always playing with somebody who his game is extremely dependent on. So even when he comes in, like the Kobe thing, like.
Right. He was young.
Yeah, so it's like his play is very dependent on what other people have going or more important players have going on.
Yeah.
So with LeBron and AD, it's like I don't know if he struggles with a green light or if he struggles with, fitting into their, the way that they maneuver in the team.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm a Laker fan, so I'll watch D'Lo, man, and I like to bet. I like to bet. Place my parlay.
You're always setting them.
D'Lo will never touch another slip.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude.
Because you just don't know what's going to
He's
happen.
not a guy you can bet on. You just don't know what he's going to be.
If his over is 13 points, he could hit it in the first quarter.
Yes.
Or he'll go the whole game with 3, 4, 5.
It's unexplainable, dude. Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah,
but
that's a great pick.
But I think that was a really good name. I had him. I don't have these guys in order. But,
me either.
But he's like at the very top of this list. Okay, so you go ahead. Go with the next one.
Okay, so I'll go with a pick that I came up with this pick this morning, actually.
Nice.
So LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
Right. My thing with LaMelo Ball.
I don't like to interrupt the
guests,
but I do want to ask you because it's funny. I had him as well, but then I thought to myself, if the player is so young, can we still criticize them for frustrating us? Or I guess okay, cool. So then go ahead.
I only will say that because the whole part of the question that we're answering is you got to love them first. So there's something about LaMelo's game that I just love watching. Like it's the same thing as THT.
Okay.
Hooper to Hooper, you can see that he has it. Whatever it is that you need to have to be just like a prolific scorer at any time, ball handle. It almost looks like he doesn't practice. Like if you watch his game, it looks like he doesn't even have to practice. Like he just goes out there, laces up,
just natural,
gives you 30. But on the other side, it's like the young thing. It seems almost like he's just going to have fun and get his check. He doesn't seem like he wants to be the best at his position. He doesn't seem like he wants to. I won't say he doesn't seem like he wants to win games. That's a lot to put on somebody.
Yeah.
But that championship contender mentality. I mean, he's on the Hornets. So
yeah.
There could be a lot of things at play there.
Yeah.
But he's just so good, and he has that thing
so good. Yeah.
That it frustrates me when I see him kind of not playing to that.
And fun dude to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love watching him play, bro.
All right, so that's a good one. LaMelo Ball's a good one. You started off hot with the THT though.
Yeah.
I was not gonna see that coming.
And that was the first. As soon as you asked the question, that was the first guy.
That's crazy to me. Yeah. Because there are but before the pod, you were telling me you weren't sure if you wanted to do like the big name people, the people that we talk about a lot. But I wanted to either way, like if they fit the criteria for me, I'm still gonna put them on that list. And I'll start right away. Jayson Tatum. Okay. Bro. Very frustrating.
He was on my list, bro.
Yes. And you know what? I asked around on Instagram, and I'm going to go over those at the end of the pod. He was a guy that came up frequently on people chiming in on names. And I wrote him down before I even asked. And it's just like the skill set, like the tools. He's got everything in his bag. And when he's hot, the game is so fun to watch because he is so good. But there's times where he loves to play basketball the hard way. And I don't understand it. There's like 15 seconds left on the shot clock, and he's contested 3 over 2 people. Like a sidestep.
Yeah, he settles
way
like, too much.
What are you doing, dude? Like, do you realize that no one can stop you getting to the rim? Like,
because when he does drive, even when he just lays, he can dunk on 7-footers.
Yes, and he can blow by you because he's got good handles. Yeah. He's got a mid-range game, like he can create for himself, but what frustrates me is the mentality, like the IQ sometimes. It's like, why do you make this game so hard for yourself? Like you can make it so much easier. So I don't know you said he fits your...
No, the only reason I didn't put him on my list, I had him on my list and I took him off, was because I went and looked at his numbers and I'm like, I can't support my feeling how I feel when I watch him play, because at the end of the day, he's giving you...
The numbers are the numbers.
He's giving you enough to get the respect. But when you're watching it, it's like, I almost see why they have the tug of war between him and Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown comes out on top a lot of the time, if you ask guys. Yeah. Because it's not a talent thing. It's more of a will thing. And Jaylen Brown's like, bro, like, I'll go dunk on guys.
And he's got talent too. Yeah. So, like...
But Jaylen Brown's like, yo, if my shot's not falling, I'm going to go to the rack on you.
Right.
Hard every time.
Right.
And that's where Jayson Tatum he's like, no, I'm gonna take a couple shots.
He falls in that trap. Like, it's sometimes, guys are so good at shot creation that they just believe that every shot that they put up is going to go in.
And they're doubling JT. Like, I'm not going to act like they're definitely doubling JT.
But I knock him on the bad IQ plays. Okay. The ones I'm talking about where there's two people on him because they know he's not going to pass it, and there's still a ton of time left. And he decides to take a shot over just help defense, which is crazy. It's frustrating.
He'll make it a lot of the time.
He will make it,
when he misses it, it's like, man.
And he has that factor of what kind of D'Angelo-ish, not to that extent, because D'Angelo is just all the way on the other side, but where you don't know, like, is this the 40-point Tatum game, or is this the 0 for 11 from 3 and no free throw attempts Tatum?
And you tend to know in the first quarter what it's going to look like. Like, just looking at him, all right.
Yeah,
he's on that.
And
today.
That's frustrating for me. So go ahead. I'll give you the next guy.
Right. I'm doing more personal favorites.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Bol Bol, bro.
Damn, I didn't even think about Bol Bol.
Oh, my God.
Wow, yeah.
So I love Bol Bol.
Yeah.
I'm a 2K guy. When I'm playing 2K, Bol Bol's in my starting lineup.
I start him at the 5.
None of that bench, none of that.
Yeah.
I love everything about his game. When he plays over 15 minutes, in my opinion, he shows you all the unicorn stuff that people believe.
Yeah.
So, but that's the frustrating part, because it's like we've been seeing him around for so long.
Yeah, he's bounced around.
And sometimes it's like, if you have this mythology in your head about a player, it's like, how many years can go by before you start?
Yeah. How old is he now?
I am not sure.
Not sure. We can look that up in a little bit. But you can go ahead. I'll look it up.
It's like when I'm watching him as a supporter, sometimes I don't even know if he's the unicorn or if he's not.
24.
It's injury based, a lot of it.
Right.
A lot of, but even for the Suns, like last season, you go look at his stats. Anytime he plays, 16, 17 minutes,
he gives you something, dude.
He's giving you on defense and offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're trying to conserve his body for injuries, and maybe that's why they don't give him the minute. But when he's out there, he's making a difference.
I see it too.
So it just frustrates me that sometimes I don't see him out there enough, or when I do see him in those 10-minute games, maybe he knows he's not supposed to do much, so he doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But.
No, and this is a guy that, like, if you don't watch games, occasionally you'll see like him just go off, and he'll be on the highlight page. And someone that doesn't watch games, they're probably like, why doesn't this guy play? Yeah. Right? Like, but it's like, watch the full sample size. Like, sometimes he sleeps on defense. Like, he falls asleep, and he's not that consistent. But like you said, the wingspan, like the mobility, like the confidence, shooting from outside. If he can get into that workhorse
20-minute a game area, I feel like he'd be putting up just as good of numbers as anybody,
Yeah, and, that's an interesting one. I was not expecting a Bol Bol name here. You're giving me really good names.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't want to say stuff that we talk about.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. That's no. I commend you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I have one here that we both wrote down because I kind of saw it on your reverse.
Let's talk about
Michael Porter Jr. Okay. He is the modern day like yes, no type of guy, here. Right? Like the ball stops here, but he's also that guy that like. He does 2 good things, and then he does 3 bad things, and then he does 1 good thing and 1 bad thing. It's like, you're constantly on this roller coaster with him, and he is so skilled. He's so good.
Yeah.
He's 6'10". Like, if he's not making shots, he's gonna rebound for you. Like he can block shots, right?
Yeah.
Like he can contest. Like he's not like an elite defender, but because of the tools and the mobility and just the reps, like he has improved. And he's a good shot creator. Like he's an elite. He's 41
he really has
for
it
his
all.
career.
Yeah.
He has it all. Like this is a dude that like people thought he was gonna be like T-Mac.
Yeah.
You know?
And injury. So
and the injuries for sure. You know,
Yeah.
he plays with like this experimental brace on his foot that like connects up like because of his back. It's a weird thing he has on his foot, but you know, he's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
You're just like you love him because he's so damn good, but then he gives you these moments where you're like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing this?
Completely agree.
Right?
Completely agree. I feel like I have to he's one of those guys that I have to remind myself about the injury.
Yeah.
You know
right.
what I mean?
To be like, that's why.
Almost like Paul George. Like, sometimes when I'm watching Paul George, because I grew up with watching Pacer Paul George.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I'll see him, and in my head, he looks the same. He looks fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a different guy. You know, MPJ was like he was supposed to be that guy.
He was. I remember. I was hyped on him for him. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm sure he still feels that way, or still has that in his head somewhere. Maybe he tries that, and it's just a little less successful than it used to be.
Yeah, and he's made improvements. Like his mid range has improved a lot. Decision making has improved.
Yeah.
But when you are a guy that's so skilled, again, like the Tatum thing, you know, some of the best scorers in the league, like they are so confident in their skill that they take hard shots. Like they just do. You know,
he's almost like he can play that position where guys like Jayson Tatum, guys like Kevin Durant, who are almost like they're anytime a team plays Kevin Durant or Jayson Tatum, there's no wash at that position for that player.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like whoever's playing that, you lost that matchup for that day.
Right.
With Michael Porter Jr., you've got a pseudo Durant, pseudo JT.
Yeah. He could be a 2. He could be a 3.
Time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that about him.
Yeah.
But like you said, bro, I like I wrote down in my notes, Michael Porter Jr., hot or cold, big ass J.R. Smith.
Big ass J.R. Smith, dude. That's so funny because you know, like, he's just one of those guys.
He's like if J.R. Smith had just a little bit more of a green light, and was bigger
and maybe more efficient. Right? Because I think, I don't know what the splits are for J.R. Smith, but I'm willing to bet that Michael Porter Jr.'s splits are probably better.
I would say that, but I would also say J.R. Smith, who are you playing with? J.R. Smith's playing with super high volume scorers.
Yeah, this dude's on,
He's playing with Carmelo, so it's like he's taking crumbs from Carmelo. He's taking crumbs from LeBron or whoever else. You know what I mean?
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. All right, so let's move on to the next guy.
Okay, next guy. So I think we've talked about this guy before.
Here, let's adjust you here. Since you like to look at your
So I think we talked about this guy before. Kenny Lofton Jr.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Similar to the THT pick, but in my opinion,
came here with straight.
But these are my guys. These are my guys. You know what I mean? Like I like to watch guys who are hoopers.
Yeah.
Who, we had a huge, not a huge argument, but we get into it about Bones Highland a lot.
We do.
And I had to concede that.
After you saw that clip, I'll put it on the video.
I had to concede that. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But Kenny Lofton, man, he's like, do you know DJ Burns, NC State?
I know DJ Burns for sure, the big dude, yeah.
He reminds me of DJ Burns, but like in a smaller,
but more mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
more compact.
DJ Burns was a problem in college.
Beast, bro.
Yeah. I forgot where he was undrafted, and I forgot where he ended up.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's somewhere in the G, I think.
I would watch DJ Burns, bro, and I'm like,
he was fun.
The way he's spinning off guys in the post, you can't do anything about it. And then when Kenny Lofton played Wembanyama,
he bullied him.
Right, he's bullying Wembanyama.
Yeah. He's in summer league, you're talking about,
right?
Yeah,
he's in the league. He's getting, he got what's the record?
I don't remember
He got like a 40-point game in the league and a 50-point game in the G League. Like he's a certified bucket.
He's a bucket
everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a thing where the coaches are like, man, this just doesn't work with everybody. It works for him when he's playing. It doesn't work for everybody. When I'm watching him, my mind doesn't even know how to feel about it because it's like he's 6'6",
and I think he just got waived like a couple days ago.
Yeah, he just got waived.
Yeah, he was on that Bulls training camp, which I talked about.
It's like he's 6'6", 6'7", but he's supposed to be a power forward center.
Yeah, it's tough.
You can't really put him at the 3 because that's not really his game. But then he is so good
at what he does.
I watched the interview where I forget which Memphis player was talking about it, but they were asking him like, "Hey, why isn't he playing? Why isn't he getting these big time minutes?" And they're saying, "So you got Santi Aldama, and you got
there's
you got Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah,
right.
You're talking about like for people that kind of stick the position that he would play, or okay.
Well,
cool.
They were saying because he was going to play the 4.
Right. So there's Jaren, there's Santi Aldama. I wonder. There's also
Xavier,
Brandon Clark.
At the time,
right?
there was Xavier Tillman.
Yeah, Brandon Clark.
Yeah. There's just basically what he was saying is defensively, they just have a lot of chemistry, and it's hard to take. Like, who are you gonna like? Santi Aldama can give you points.
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson
and
can
Kenny
give you
Lofton
points.
does not defend. And that's a problem.
So it's like, who are you gonna take out for Kenny?
Yeah.
And if I'm looking at it, it's like Santi Aldama isn't a name that is super crazy like that, but you're not going to take him out.
Yeah, and I also like Jake LaRavia. He's actually a sleeper player, really good.
Yeah.
I really liked him. But I want to talk a little bit about Kenny Lofton Jr. because I followed him a lot before the draft because he played for our U19 FIBA team, and he should have won like MVP of that finals game for FIBA, and it was Chet. Chet was the one that won it, but Kenny Lofton was cooking in FIBA, bro. And I was like, this dude is incredible. He goes undrafted, and I'm like, I don't know how this guy went undrafted because of what he did alone, like on the global scale as a young dude. And again, it was the weight thing that was a problem. He couldn't really shoot, right? He improved that over time. Yeah. He also slimmed down a little bit, but he's like one of those guys that you worry. If he slims down, does he now lose his advantage? Yeah. Because some guys, when you go out to the park, like some dudes are big and they know how to use that size. And in the league, you'll see it, and if you take it away from guys, sometimes it takes away from their game. And now you have this undersized guy that maybe can shoot a little bit now, but now he can't really bully you. And it's like, what do we do with him now? Yeah. Right? So that's interesting. I like that name. That's a really good one. Okay, we will move on. So I got one here. This one is probably one of the more obvious ones, and it's Karl-Anthony Towns.
Wow. Right? Okay.
Love his game. The players, if you ever watch pods, like the players love Cat. Yeah. They all say he's a GOAT, he's super skilled.
Except for the guys that beat.
Except for right. But the skill set, we can't deny it. Yeah. This is a 7-footer. That's a 50-40 borderline 90 guy. Yeah. And he does it in his sleep, really. Like, he scores so easily. He's got every tool. And then what frustrates me and everyone else is the mentality. Like, sometimes you question the toughness. You also question, what are you doing? You have like 2 fouls already in the first quarter. Foul trouble is a big problem with this guy. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to be a Timberwolves fan in this long run they had and think, oh my God, is this guy going to play himself out of this game?
Especially now since they're actually contenders. So the stakes are higher.
And now he's on the Knicks. Yeah. So it's like, that's a story that's for another pod. But, he's just one of these guys that made my list because it is frustrating to watch how gifted this guy is, and he takes himself out of games because of the foul stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. Yeah. He's one of those hot or cold guys, bro. And what bothers me is the shot selection sometimes. So he's a sniper. We get it. Yeah. You're also 7 foot tall.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he does enough with feinting the big man role enough. It's like, bro, if you want to be a 2 guard, you could be a 2 guard 20% of the time. Yeah. But those other 80%, we need you to do some big man work. We need you to at least look and do a decent 7-footer job. Right. You know what I mean?
But how does he do it with Gobert down there too, though? So right? You need like
the Knicks give him a perfect
right.
The Knicks give him a perfect chance to showcase that.
Now he can do it.
We talked about that a little bit, like with their pacing
and their pace is way up. And I don't know if you saw my post.
Yeah, they've been playing really well.
Woo.
So it's good to see they have him at the 5. So maybe he does get the opportunity to kind of flex that big man energy.
But he needs a rim protector. Yeah, because if he's at the 5, he's gonna get in foul trouble. And if he's in foul trouble, there goes an advantage for the Knicks. Like, that's why when you have a guy like that can't really protect the rim without fouling, and he's also one of your biggest weapons on offense, you can't lose that to fouls. So he needs Mitchell Robinson. Like, he needs a rim protector.
Yeah, but in a perfect world, if he could apply enough pressure to be somewhat of a rim protector, if they could keep him at the 5 and he works, that could be amazing for them and for Cat.
Yeah,
you know.
But do you really want him in the post?
Because not right now.
I don't.
Not right now, but he's coming off of playing with Rudy Gobert, bro. So there's just a lot of I think that guys kind of shapeshift to what responsibility they're given at the time, and some guys kind of fail to do that, and then some guys they succeed at it.
I'm betting he can't wait until Mitchell Robinson gets back.
I bet
because he's like,
so
I do not want to be battling these guys down low, bro.
But that's the love and hate thing with Cat. It's because, like, bro, you're a 7-footer. You can do this if there's a set of circumstances where he could do this.
He could,
but I just don't see it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're on the same boat.
Yeah.
What else do you got for me?
All right.
Who else you got on this list?
So my main 3 I gave away. So these are like my honorable guys.
Okay, honorable mentions. Okay,
right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go Bradley Beal.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Damn, I didn't even think about that, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good one.
And I'll go from my notes. My notes say, Bradley Beal, what are you, bro?
Mm-hmm.
What are you? Because if we find out what you are, maybe we can like win a championship.
Why do you think it is that you don't know what he is?
It's because
he's like a traditional 2 guard, right? Like,
but the Suns have him. The Suns will have him playing point, even when he's not playing point,
or mainly Book before at the time. Yeah.
But if he's on the floor, say he's on the floor with Book and KD, he's coming across half court most of the time when I'm watching, looking to facilitate. Mm-hmm. He's looking like a facilitator.
Yeah,
he's not. In Washington, he's not looking like a spot-up 3-point shooter. He's not looking like bucket. He'll turn it on in instances when it looks like maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah,
but I feel like you lose the value of him,
like what he
brings
him
out so much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Okay.
And maybe they don't need it because they have Book and they have KD and they have, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So it's like maybe you don't need him. But for me, watching him play, I'm always so frustrated watching him play because I know what can be happening.
Yeah, but that's the problem with roster redundancy, though.
Yeah.
Like, you have Book, guard. You have Grayson Allen, guard. Yeah. You got KD, forward, but guard. You know, he plays kind of like a guard. And then you have Beal. And it's like there's a lot of similar styles.
Yeah.
In
and
the sense
Eric
of
Gordon, like just a whole bunch of snipers, bro.
It's just a bunch of scorers. And I feel like best version of Beal, because he's overpaid, it's going to sound like a crazy statement because he was also the man in Washington. But I always felt like the best version of Beal at this stage of his career with the Suns is just bring him off the bench and let him be him.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's this sense that you have because you're paying him so much money that you got to start him. But I feel like you really get a lot from him.
What was it? What was his? It was like 200.
I don't remember. It was a crazy contract, and he has the no trade clause.
200 off the bench is crazy.
Yeah, and no trade clause. You got a no trade clause guy coming off the bench? Like, what the hell? So, but I felt like for the Suns, it would probably help them.
Yeah.
Let me go to the ones. Let me try to remember them off the top. A name that was up there was Tyrese Halliburton. And it's because
really,
I thought the same thing. And then when they said because of that stupid ass shot that goes in every time,
it goes in though. It's wet, bro.
And I'm like, all right, I
stopped questioning it. I stopped questioning it.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'll give you that one. So that was one. Another one I got was Zach LaVine, a guy that has the tools, settles for jumpers. Yeah. You're always scared of him getting hurt. That was one of the ones.
He's always scared of him getting hurt.
Right. That too. And that was one that I remember someone messaged me. Another one was Julius Randle. A guy that you love the mentality, you love the toughness. He's developed so much over the years. Like, when I watched him come to the Lakers, I was like the only person around me that was like, this guy's going to be really good. Like, I really believed in him. I really believed in him.
Is his gravity just too much for it to work? Like, why is it that he can be that good and it just doesn't? I
mean, because the thing is, he has the numbers, right? He puts up numbers.
Yeah.
This dude is like 25 and 10.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, right? Like, he made all NBA. I think it was third team like a couple of years ago when he had that crazy year with the Knicks. But he's this guy that he takes tough shots. He needs the ball because he's a bully too. Like, he gets to that rim. He rebounds a lot. Like, he plays so hard. But he's not an efficient player. Like long term. So it's like you're taking these step backs, And like, they're not going in. Like he takes this role of like, I gotta be the guy. And it could be those years he was alone.
For where he plays.
Right.
Yeah, he plays like big.
Yeah, and he gets away with it because he's just so good. Yeah. And he's such a good player. But I understood that one, that people are frustrated by him.
I can see Julius Randle.
Yeah, and then the last one that I also read was Bam Adebayo. Which I totally understood. I totally understood that one because he's a guy that passes up a lot of shots that you feel like, you're like, dude, take the shot. Like, you got this. Like, he'll be within 15 feet. And he'll just be looking for a handoff, Now he's pulling them up. I looked recently right now in preseason. He's taking like 13 threes. He's at like 38%.
Yeah.
Small sample
size.
Shout out to Bam on that.
In the Olympics,
he was pulling.
You took my respect level to an all-time high. So shout out to Bam.
But I caution people that were messaging me about the Bam threes because I always tell them, don't forget that the Olympic threes, the FIBA threes, the three-point line is shorter.
True.
It's not like, whoa, like way shorter.
But he was going crazy.
But
on all fronts, bro. He was going crazy.
I was the one saying, like, Anthony Davis and Bam is all-time duo.
Yeah, sharing the court
Olympics.
with AD and looking like that,
it was awesome.
Like,
yeah. So Bam was one. I had Anthony Davis on my list.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. You're always worried about him getting hurt. Yeah. He loves to do the things he's okay at.
Yeah.
And doesn't like doing the things that he's actually good at.
Unless he's mad.
Which is like, what the hell, dude?
If he's mad, he'll take you to the rack. Every possession.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating guy. Yeah. And then the last one, can't let it escape me, obvious one, Joel Embiid. Guy that, come on, at tip-off looks like he's tired.
Yeah. But last season, though, you feel that way about last season?
He always looks gassed to me. Like, the game starts, and he's got his hands on his hips. He looks gassed. He's very slow-footed, and I get it. Like, he's a big dude, and he's been injured. His entire career has been plagued by injuries since before he even set foot in the league. He's been injured, and I wanted to show you this stat, dude. Like, this is by shot location using NBA tracking data. 255 field goal attempts in the mid-range. He had 211 in the paint. He had 246 in the paint, but outside, inside the restricted area. It's a lot of numbers, so it is what it is. And they go in. I mean, they're at 48%, which is actually good.
That's great
for a mid-range shot. And he's a dude that's 34, 11, and 5.
Yeah.
On 38.
That's why I was like, man, even though
amazing.
I feel that way, he's great. He's going crazy.
But it's the complaining. It's the foul hunting. It's the nobody likes me thing all the time. Like, those are the little things that frustrate me when I watch Embiid.
I can see that.
Because I want to love him, but he just complains so much. And, he points the finger after losing series very often. And it's like, like at this point, dude, like, you're so great and you still haven't been to a conference finals in the Eastern Conference. Like, we expect more from someone this great, right?
When is the Embiid indictment going to happen?
Oh, I think after this year, like.
Now that I think about it, I'm like, man, we kind of
back-to-backs,
we kind of let Ben Simmons take the heat.
Yeah, but he plays.
Sixers. We let Jimmy take the heat for the Sixers.
Yeah.
They're already letting Paul George take the heat for the Sixers. He hadn't even played yet.
He hadn't even played.
So it's like, wow, when is the Embiid? Okay, I feel that.
Yeah, but like he's one of those guys. Like, he's just so great, and you wonder, like, okay, like, what have you done to show for it other than regular season dominance? Because he's an all-time player. Like, forget about all-time big man. He's an all-time player. All right, man. So do you have anything going on that you want to announce before we end this one?
No, man. If you want to tune in, if anybody needs beats, at Magic Jordan, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff.
All right.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll put the link in there. Anything you want to show, I'll just drop it in the description.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming through, man.
Yes,
we got to do another one of these, assuming that you're not, moved, because you said you might be moving. So
yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I mean, for right now, I definitely want to do this. And we've been talking about getting this pod together for a little while. So after doing this,
it's fun, dude. It's fun. Sometimes you forget you're on the pod and you're just talking.
Yo, before we stop, proud of you.
Yeah,
because this is some really cool. Like, everything looks dope.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
I was watching a couple of your videos on the way up here. Like, the breakdowns are cool.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, super crispy. So I'm proud of you for sticking with this and getting it where, like, you got, like, you're about to have 2K subscribers. Like, it's lit, It's lit.
It's going, man. It's going, man. My idea was just to, like, do a little bit of everything, like highlights, breakdowns, to kind of pull people from all over the place.
Yeah, people are wanting to hear, like, real hoop talk now. You know what I mean? That's like a wave now. So I feel like it's the perfect time.
Everyone's got a pod now.
Yeah,
So it's
Should everyone have a pod, though? That's the question.
I don't know. I won't get into that.
That's for another pod.
I won't get into that.
That's for another pod.
Yeah, man. But thank you for coming through, man.
Yes,
you
sir.
drove a long way to get here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive a
And then
longer
you're gonna
way
do it
back
again.
with the traffic. But
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right, man.
It's all good.
Yeah. Appreciate you. All Things Basketball Podcast.
Yes, sir.
I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. Donald, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. Until next time.